development in a way that compels Muslim students to contribute positively and uniquely to the campus community and beyond. This week, titled Palestine an Invisible Nation, aims to educate and raise awareness on campus about the plight of the Palestinian people who have been living under illegal occupation for almost 63 years, with the hope that this knowledge will turn into action. Our week has unfortunately often been misconstrued to be one that harbors anti-Semitism. The MSU has clarified numerous times and will continue to clarify that hatred of any people, any particular group, on the basis of their race, color, ethnicity, or religion, including the people of the Jewish faith, is not and will not be tolerated. We will be first to speak out against these injustices, just as we will speak out against any other form of racism, no matter what group it targets. Although this goes without saying, the MSU strives to explicitly state its beliefs nonetheless. It is absolutely hypocritical and immoral to label anyone who has the courage to speak up and speak out against the apartheid policies of Israel as anti-Semitic. This week's aim, in short, is simply to call for an end to the oppression of the indigenous Palestinians. It is absolutely imperative that we call for an end to the 62 years of systematic subjugation and repression of the Palestinian people. Co-sponsors for this week include Al-Kalima, the magazine, Students for Justice in Palestine, Black Student Union, MECHA at UCI, American Indian Student Association, Radical Student Union, Asian Pacific Student Association, Worker Student Alliance, Kalbayan, and Turkish Student Association. Before we start today's events, we will begin with some verses from the Muslim holy book, the Quran, by Ridwan.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peace and blessings be upon you all. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وما لكم لا تقاتلون في سبيل الله والمستضعفين من الرجال والنساء والولدان الذين يقولون ربنا أخرجنا من هذه القرية الظالم أهلها واجعل لنا من لدنك وليا واجعل لنا من لدنك نصيرا الذين آمنوا يقاتلون في سبيل الله والذين كفروا يقاتلون في سبيل الطاغوت فقاتلوا أولياء الشيطان إن كيد الشيطان كان ضعيفا. I start in the name of God, the most beneficent, the most merciful. He says, and what reason do you have not to fight in the cause of Allah, to rescue the helpless, oppressed men, women, and children who are crying, our Lord, deliver us from this town whose people are oppressors. Raise for us a protector from you and send for us a helper from you. Those who believe fight in the cause of Allah, and those who deny the truth fight in the cause of false goals and Satan. So fight against the helpers of Satan. Surely Satan and his plans are weak.
Thank you, Ridwan. Yusrael David Weiss, American Haredi rabbi, is an activist and spokesperson for Neturei Karta, an anti-Zionist group of Haredi Jews. Based in Monsey, New York, he believes that observant Jews should peacefully oppose the existence of the Israeli state. We recognize that Rabbi Weiss represents a minority view in the Jewish community, and by no means does he represent mainstream Jewish thought or the vast majority of Jews. He does not speak for either. Instead, he speaks for himself and the organization that he represents. The fact that Rabbi Weiss articulates a dissenting opinion is no reason to stop him from speaking. We are committed to providing a variety of perspectives on the oppression of the Palestinian people and we believe that Rabbi Weiss can contribute positively to this discourse. After the rabbi's talk, there will be an opportunity for question and answers. This mic will turn off at 1 p.m. The question and answer will be here, but off the mic. After the event, Mr. Lee Wiseman, a member of the Orthodox Jewish community, will present an alternative perspective and provide a forum for discussion and voicing disagreements. We ask that you maintain respect for the speaker and utilize the question and answer portion at the end of any of the questions you may have. Please refrain from harassing individuals in the audience, and all inappropriate behavior will be referred to the campus police. If so as not to block the view. Please, if you choose to hold signs, please keep them in designated areas so as not to block the view of others. Thank you, and without further delay, Rabbi Weiss.
With the help of the Almighty, I pray to the Almighty to bestow upon me His truth, His wisdom, and that I may be worthy of conveying His truth to this august gathering. People who, with God's help, will be future leaders. And therefore, it is crucial to understand, to know the ideology and the different political issues in order to differentiate between what is legitimate, what is not legitimate, to understand what is the will of God, what is the words of God, to do His will, and in so bringing peace to this world, and to sanctify God's name. With the hope of the Almighty, I pray that we should be able to do this. The time does not allow, in such a short time, unfortunately. We're starting extremely late, and really, even if we would have had the full time, we wouldn't have been able to encompass everything that is most necessary to talk about. I have barely 15 minutes, so we pray to the Almighty, and with His help we can accomplish everything. We hope to just shed light, open a window of opportunity for all of you to be able to look for the truth and to come to a truthful conclusion, a knowledge of this whole issue of Zionism, the State of Israel, Judaism, etc. I want to thank the Muslim Student Union of Irvine and the university itself for allowing us to speak, and Facade, the president here of Muslim Student Union, that it should be successful with God's help, they should be able to accomplish God's will. And thank you all for giving of your time, your precious time, for coming. Again, time is so short. Let us try to understand, to comprehend what the issues here are that we must know in order to be able to come to a remedy for this terrible conflict, this terrible Nakba, this terrible catastrophe that is happening in Palestine, in the Holy Land. To the Jewish audience, it is depending on who. There are people who are coming obviously just to seek some flaw in what we're trying to say and use it. But then there must be amongst you some people who, being that you're going to university and so forth, you're looking for truth. We ask that you step out of the box, you step out of the way, your comfort zone that you've been, that you know that if you could go out of here and you can ridicule and you can walk away and say, oh, those anti-Zionists, those self-hating Jews, or whatever other terminology you use, then you'll be very comfortable, you'll be respected, you'll be able to go back to your communities. That's very simple, and you can live off your life like that and not accomplish anything or do God's will. At the same time, if somebody is looking for the truth, many times it could be very uncomfortable. But isn't that what it's all about? Isn't that what we've been given hundreds and hundreds of years or thousands of years? Jewish people have been burnt at the stake, Jewish people have been gone by the Inquisition, by the Spanish Inquisition, by the Crusades, by Hitler. We've gone through so much trials and tribulations for one simple reason. Not for taking any action or not taking any action, for simply to uphold in our own minds the belief in the one God and the covenant that we made with God. And if we simply wanted to put on a false facade of changing our views, it could have been very, very, very comfortable. And we could have gotten away with everything and not suffered. But our grandparents, throughout the generations, stood up for their belief and died for their belief. We're asking of you, at the end of the road, before the coming of the Messiah, the end of days, don't turn off the road and lose everything that your grandparents, this golden chain, has gone and done for the Almighty. Let us keep on in the true path, and then we will be able to, with respect, stand up and welcome and usher in the days when, with hopefully with God's will, God will have compassion and end the exilic period where all humanity will recognize the one God and we will all serve Him in peace. So I'm imploring, look for the truth. We all pray to the God, to the Almighty, that He should bestow upon us His truth, His right way. Pray and put aside your conclusions, and let's hope and pray that we should have the right path, we should go on the right path. The one who introduced me stated that I'm representing only my organization. I'm representing myself, and that in itself, again, is an unfortunate mistake. Because in truth, what I am representing, what I'm going to be talking about, is the basics of the Jewish religion. It is the voice, the view of Jewish people around the world who are true to the Jewish religion, who have never strayed from the Jewish religion as it has been given to us on Mount Sinai. In fact, it is the organization, Neturei Karta, Jews United Against Zionism, is simply one of many, many voices of organizations that are true to Judaism, that have their approaches in speaking out against Zionism. But the concept of opposing Zionism, of opposing this new Judaism that is called Zionism, is the view shared universally by Jews who are true to Judaism in every major Jewish community around the world. If it is a major Jewish community, invariably you will find the core Jewish community is anti-Zionist. And let me explain. In short, Judaism is a religion. Judaism is a covenant made on Mount Sinai a few thousand years ago, where Jews swore to the Almighty and promised to be subservient to the Almighty and uphold the 613 commandments of the Torah, and that is what it means to be Jewish. We believe that every human being is required to serve God. It's the 7 commandments of Noah, to believe in that God gave Moses the Torah. And in it says that you have to believe in one God. Secondly, not to serve idol worshipfully, not to kill, not to steal, and not commit adultery. And to have a court system and not to eat from an animal while it's alive. 7 commandments. If you do that, you will inherit the world to come. Jewish people accepted upon themselves a whole other set of rules and regulations, the covenant. And that is what it means to be Jewish. And we've followed and obeyed these commandments throughout the generations. Zionism is a transformation from this covenant into nationalism. It's a base materialistic goal, a materialistic concept that has nothing whatsoever to do with this covenant that we've made to God. It is a relatively new movement of merely a little over 100 years. Judaism is thousands of years old. Judaism